It is a dimension as vast as space, and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call shots. Chapter 6, Todd, the Mandalorian, the prisoner, as it's referred to. We just watched it mere moments ago, just rolled credits on it. And I just gotta say, just right out the gate, cameo fest.
It really was a cameo fest.
But before we get into all that, of course, for folks that have not been keeping up with this series, as we do our Mandalorian series review, episode review, season recap, whatever the fuck you want to call it, full spoilers. If you have not seen The Mandalorian Chapter 6, The Prisoner, go watch it and come back, because we are going to discuss. And there is much to discuss, Todd. This one was, again, I mean, we've sort of been talking about this past couple episodes. As the credits rolled, as we watched this episode, I was like, okay, it's another filler episode.
It's another filler episode, but it is the best filler episode so far.
But damn, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
It was so much fun. Like, I knew, like, minutes into this episode, I think I even said, I was like, yeah, this episode is 100% my shit.
Mm-hmm. You said that within, like, dead ass, like, the first, like, 2-3 minutes.
Because it does that, like, kind of, again, the thing that this show is really good at, and I feel like I say this every week, but it's just true. This show is so good at taking tropes and, like, cliches and just making them fit really well into Star Wars in a way that is not, like, cringy and weird. Like, this episode, again, it's the kind of thing you've seen a million times where it's like a ragtag band of, like, uneasy alliances, you know?
Yep.
Having to get together and do a job together, even though it's on shaky ground, and there's maybe has a little bit of a shared history with one of them. You know, it's a classic sort of trope. But this show is, as it does so well with just about every episode, it takes that trope and just makes it work really well. So, setting up the episode, we land at this sort of like individual. I mean, what would you call it? It was sort of
it's
just
it's like a space
platform.
station. Yeah, like a space station in a way.
Yeah, like an individual platform ran by fucking, I don't know the actor's
Just call him
name.
Bullock. No.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, the guy who plays Bullock in fucking Batman Begins. I don't know his name. He's also in Sons of Anarchy. He's really good at playing like kind of scummy asshole. Like he's kind of typecast in that way. Anyway, he runs this sort of platform. He's got like this group that he puts together to do this job to break somebody out of prison. And this group involves a guy named Mayfeld, played by Bill Burr, of course. It was funny. You had no idea he was in this, right?
I did not. I'm pretty blind for the most part on The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I watched him on either H3 or Your Mom's House or something like that, and he was talking about, like, months ago, like, yeah, I went in and shot for The Mandalorian. He's talking about how awesome and how fun it was and stuff like that. And yeah, now we finally get to see his character kind of in action. He's actually got a way bigger role in the episode than I thought he would. I was thinking it was just going to be a little cameo or something like that, because here's the deal. I mean, I'm not really used to seeing Bill Burr act, you know? But I gotta say, he's pretty damn good. Like, he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, solid. Definitely solid.
He had, like, the right intensity when he needed it. He was funny when he needed to be. There are a couple little jokes in there that I liked. We've also got a character named Berg, who's a Deveronian. If you remember back in A New Hope, you get that quick shot of that, like, creepy, smiling, devil-looking guy.
Yeah.
It's that race, basically. And, he's played by Clancy Brown, which I was like, what? Because I recognized the name right out the gate. Like, I recognized the voice right out the gate. I was like, wow, like, I'm trying to place who that is. but I couldn't the face. He's wearing so much makeup, I couldn't really see it in the face until I looked it up. And then there's a Twi'lek woman named, what's her name? Shion or something like that?
Shion.
And she's played by the actress who plays Tonks in Harry Potter. And that was another one where like the face looked familiar, but I couldn't quite place it. Just all these little cameos. And there are even more. And then, so notably, we following the series, we know that Mando hates droids.
I want to do correct something.
What's that?
He does not play Bullock in Batman Begins. He plays a character called Flass.
Oh, it's whatever.
I know. And it's Mark Boone Jr.
Oh, that's the character's name, Mark Boone Jr.?
No, that's the actor.
Oh, it's the actor's name.
But yeah, okay. He plays a character like Arthur Flass or some shit.
Whatever.
It's fucking basically Bullock.
It's basically Bullock. We're gonna go with Bullock. I don't give a shit. And then yeah, so it's all piloted by this droid. I think they call him Zero.
Yeah, just dead ass Zero. Yeah.
So yeah, so we kind of have this whole thing, kind of this group set up again. There's a little the Twi'lek woman, Shion or whatever. They've got a little bit of a past together. They kind of imply like there was a job and like something got messy with it. Maybe there's a little bit of a romantic tinge to it. She's the character I felt. Were you annoyed with her a little bit?
Whenever she was...
She kind of annoyed... I never really... I mean, like, I'm a big Star Wars guy. And I've never really seen Twi'leks portrayed like that.
Yeah.
Where they're, like, cat-like and, like, hissing and, like, licking their fangs and stuff. I've never really seen a Twi'lek portrayed that way. And I'm not sure that I like it, to be honest. I mean, maybe that's something that is sort of more animalistic in their nature. Maybe she picked that up from having to, like, you know, in the criminal underworld, having to, like, fend for herself and stuff like that.
That's a way to look at it.
Yeah, maybe she just kind of taps more into her primal nature in that way.
The warrior drums?
Exactly. Well, maybe we're just sort of used to seeing more of the sophisticated, I guess, Twi'leks. And she just isn't one of them. I don't know, but I feel like Twi'leks are such an overly sexualized race. In Star Wars, they're always either strippers or whatever, you know, or they're always like she's sort of like got this kind of. She's always licking her teeth and kind of batting eyelashes.
No, I'm just playing.
It's a little. I don't know. It's a little much. It's a little much. She kind of got on my nerves a little bit, but it is what it is. So, and stop me if I'm missing anything as I'm doing these recaps, because I'm just sort of like both retracing the steps in my head and kind of comparing them to the sporadic notes that I take as we were watching. This is after only one viewing. But we board the Razor Crest. Fucking Bullock, he seems to have an unusual interest in the Razor Crest.
Mm-hmm.
What was the deal with that? Did you pick that up?
Yeah, it was weird. He was just kind of...
He was like, I wouldn't have even let you on if it weren't for that. Like, he seemed very interested in the Razor Crest. And, I mean, I know why he wanted it for the job.
Overall, they were kind of doing weird shit. Like, you had Zero kind of looking through his shit, like his comms and all that.
Right.
And just trying to, like, ooh, I got information on the Mandalorian, like, later on in the episode. It's like,
right.
This is weird. It was just a weird situation. I mean, I feel like the whole thing was known to, like, basically... I'm not gonna. Let's keep going. Then we'll get into the deeper.
Well,
bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, he straight up says like, yeah, the Razor Crest is like it's a ship that's not tracked by the on the Imperial Network or the Republic.
The New Republic. Yeah. So it's a ghost. It's basically the perfect ship for shit like this.
Exactly. So maybe that's it. I mean, maybe he's just like, hey, like I'm interested in your ship for more than just this job, kind of thing.
Mm.
And that's sort of strengthened by something that happens later. So, yeah, we board the ship. We're sort of en route to the... First of all, I guess we should just describe the job. It's on this droid-ran prison transport, I guess. And it's supposed to be ran basically entirely by droids, which, you know, Mando does not like. And the idea is to just kind of get in, quietly break out the prisoner, and get out. And, of course, it becomes much more complicated very quickly. and again, this is another sort of like filler kind of episode where it's just like, hey, it's another side quest, basically. But that's all right. It's still fun. And I think that's sort of what I have to come to accept as a fan of this show is like, I guess I really thought after the first like 2 or 3 episodes, I guess I really thought this show was going to be all killer, no filler. You know what I mean? And
but it's some killer filler.
it is some killer filler. I mean, I'll give. I mean, it's true. I'll give the show that. I mean, the filler's good, but I guess I was expecting every episode to be essential.
It's like the first 2 were like we're killer, and then filler, and then I feel like the last two like 7 and 8, I think are gonna be like fucking. They
bangers. Sort of have to be, right?
They kind of have to be some bangers.
So yeah, I mean, I guess we're gonna see. We get up in the Razor Crest. We're en route to this prison transport, and they're all fucking nosy, just like the droid Zero is nosy, kind of going through Mando's like comms history and stuff like that with Carl Weathers, and they're like fucking Berg or whatever his name is going through Mando's like weapons, and eventually they stumble onto. You're wondering throughout this whole episode, you realize we haven't discussed Yiddle yet.
Oh, I know.
Because you're wondering for the first like 10 minutes of this episode, where is my son?
Where is my son?
Where's my sweet baby boy? And then eventually they stumble onto the little compartment where Mando's keeping Yiddle. Yiddle's room, basically.
And it made me uncomfortable the way they grabbed him.
Yeah, Bill Burr's character grabs him. And then like he does kind of a fake, like he's being an asshole, and he just kind of does this like fake like he's going to drop him.
Well, he does, and it's also this weird shit of like, I've tried having pets before. Maybe I'll give it another go, type shit.
Yeah.
It's like you ignorant bitch. I love you, Bill Burr. You will die.
And they do this shit where they try to get Mando to like take off his helmet and stuff like that, and that doesn't go over very well, obviously. This is the way. She makes fun of him. This is the way. And then Bill Burr cracks a joke like, "Are you a Gungan under there?"
Holy shit, that was good.
You know how badly I want to see a Gungan Mandalorian? You know how badly I want that? Oh god, there's another funny
Jar
joke
Jar
that
is
Bill
the key
Burr.
to all this.
Jar Jar is the key to all this. I'm so fucking happy I have that signature.
That's
dude.
so good.
Yeah, I have Ahmed Best's signature. He wrote Jar Jar is the key to all this and signed a picture of Jar Jar for us. So good. But there's another funny Bill Burr moment earlier where they're giving Mayfeld's kind of like history, and they're like, yeah, he was an Imperial sharpshooter, and Mando's like, that doesn't say much. And he's like, I wasn't a stormtrooper, wise ass.
And it's like it's canon. There's shit.
Yeah, that's what that's what I kind of said to you. I was like, okay, so it's stormtroopers are canonically bad shots. All right, we're getting meta. All right, cool. So anyway, they go. Finally, Zero gets the hyperdrive going, and they go into light speed, and that's when Bill Burr commits the cardinal sin of actually dropping Yiddle,
and his life was made forfeit.
Your death warrant was signed in that moment. You do not drop my son. Can I just say, just like even just seeing that, even just I know Yiddle's just like a doll, basically.
But it hurt me.
But I don't like seeing him being thrown to and fro
like
that.
It's like they must know that if anything happens to Yiddle, we will riot.
We will
rise up.
There will be a barricade around Lucasfilm HQ. There will be a barricade around Jon Favreau.
We'll tear them the fuck apart.
Limb from limb. So yeah, they realize when they board this sort of prison transport that it is a New Republic prison ship, and we realize that as we're sort of moving along. Berg gets the attention of a bunch of droids, which is not good.
This was a good scene.
This led to the as I kept saying, the Batman shit.
Well, here's the thing. The best part about it to me was they thought like he just dipped out. They're like, where's he at? Are you gonna do something cool? I thought you were like basically I thought you were the shit. They look back, he's not there, and then That fucking music cue as he walks around the corner.
Speaking of the music in this episode is so good.
It's so good.
It's just kind of got this episode just has that sort of like when I said at the beginning this is 100% my shit. It's got this kind of scum and villainy bounty hunter like the music kind of had this like almost like a techno like twang to it, cyberpunk feel.
Little techno beats to like the regular music was good.
I was like, yes, dude, yes. This is exactly like this is the kind of shit when I was a kid. Like I would have fucking creamed myself, like seeing an episode of TV like this. So cool.
You didn't cream yourself? No,
I mean, there may be a little stickiness happening. But that's besides the point, Todd. So anyway, we after all the Batmaning of the droids, essentially, 'cause he single-handedly takes down gotta be between 8 and 10 droids.
Was it 10?
I'm just saying, like somewhere in the avenue of like 8 to 10, I would say.
It was 5.
It was a lot.
I'll say this. It was definitely 5+.
It was a lot. He single-handedly just like takes them all down, and it's so badass. It's a great
I love
moment.
that it's realistic to the fact that he is still getting hit while fighting them.
Right.
And like he has the armor. That's what helps, but he is still getting hit.
And we shouted that out, I think, in episode 2, where it's like it's not often that you watch a show like this where you are seeing he's not some flawless badass.
He has the armor so he can make these mistakes. But
right.
he does get hit, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah. So we move on. We get to the control room. We find out that it's not just droids, but there is a New Republic officer manning the control room, played by Matt Lanter, who is who, like I said, voices Anakin in the Clone Wars TV show. So that was kind of cool. Cool little cameo there. And it creates a tense standoff because he's basically got his finger on the trigger of a New Republic kind of like distress beacon. He's basically at any moment he can sit there and call a distress call for the New Republic. So this sort of tense standoff happens. Are we going to kill him? Are we not going to kill him? What are we going to do? And then fucking Xi'an or whatever, she ends up just like throwing like a throwing knife at him and killing him. And as his body falls to the floor, it's like, oh shit, he pressed the button. We have now 20 minutes before New Republic come to check out this distress signal. So that happens. It becomes kind of a rush to finally getting the hell out of there, getting the prisoner, who is revealed to be the brother of Xi'an. Mm-hmm. What was his name?
Fucking remember.
Was it I don't remember either. It's like Quinn or something like that.
I think it was Quinn. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it sort of reveals when they release him that I'm in prison because of the messy job that they implied earlier. Mm-hmm. He got left behind, basically. Like, because they were talking about the sort of like messy job that he and Xi'an were on in the past, and it's like, hey, I did what I had to do, and so now it's sort of revealed that it's because Mando left him behind, and they do the whole switcheroo where they double cross Mando and push him in the cell.
You deserve this.
You deserve this. They lock him in there, and they run, and that's where they fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
So they're sort of in this position where they're going to escape. They're going to take his share. They're going to take the Razor Crest, and they're going to take Yiddle. But it's not long before Mando catches one of those nearby guard droids and uses his arm to unlock the cell. And that's when you realize they fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking the blast doors are coming down all around them. The ship gets put into lockdown.
And as I said, about the horror movie the shit out of them.
Red lights are coming on. Oh, y'all fucked now.
It was so good.
And you just hear Zero, the droid from the Razor Crest. There might be a slight problem. It seems he's escaped or whatever. And then as he's sitting as Zero, we should mention, as Zero is sitting on the Razor Crest, again, just sort of digging through his shit, he's slowly decrypting this message from Carl Weathers where he realizes, oh, hey, he's got some sort of quarry, and he sort of like was supposed to bring this back to the Bounty Hunters Guild, and then Yiddle sort of reveals himself at that same moment.
Curious.
Yeah, curious, Zero says as he sees Yiddle. And then it becomes a strange cat and mouse game that we flash to periodically, where he is trying to hunt down Yiddle on the Razor Crest, and Yiddle's just kind of like hiding from him, right? And we get a couple adorable shots of Yiddle peeking out through behind crates, looking adorable as ever.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're getting flashes to that every so often, but meanwhile, Mando is sort of one by one just systematically fucking all the people that fucked him over. And can we just say that fight with him and Berg?
Great.
So good. Because we already know it kind of happens. He's in the control room or whatever, and we're getting kind of a aerial shot of him through the vents.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this truly is some Batman shit. So Mando fires his shot through the vents to kind of like get a grapple around his neck.
I swear I thought he was going to hang his ass. I'm like, oof.
That's what it sort of looked like. But then no.
No, the motherfucker's too big.
Too big. Pulls his ass down through the vents, and then it becomes... I love how during the fight with Berg, he basically tried everything.
Yeah,
like,
he tried everything.
All of
it was
his
just
tricks.
that man was, again, the whole time with that character was essentially like, you're a tiny boy, basically.
It's like I'm trying the whistling birds. The whistling birds, I can't get a lock on him.
Mm-hmm.
I tried the flamethrower. Oh, hey, he's Deveronian. He's like, he basically looks and is the devil. so the fire isn't really doing anything with him. So what they end up doing is Mando pulls down a blast door on top of him. And they're like, ooh, shit, that's one way to go. Damn, all right, he's fucked.
The man just basically fucking squatting it, basically. Just like lifting it back up and shit. I was like, oh.
Yeah, and then you just see the blast door slowly lift up. You're like, oh, fuck. But that's okay, because the second one did the trick. You see another blast door come sort of from the sides and finish the job. I was like, damn. And then we get a little battle. Of course, we had to get an encounter with Shion or whatever. And she's kind of throwing knives at him.
Yeah, she got a blade in.
She got a blade in, but it wasn't good enough. Was not good enough. But the part that I really just when the boner was in full effect.
It's my favorite takedown, the one you're about to talk about.
When the boner was in full effect, is when he took down Mayfeld. Oh my god! The way so they do the classic with the strobe, like the light strobing effect. And then you just see Mando through
getting closer and closer.
Yes, it's
And then again, it's like it does the perfect as he turns around. He's behind him, but
yes,
oh, it's so good.
Yes,
so good. And it's just no.
Yeah, and they don't even show us what he did to him, but you know he whooped that monkey ass, bro. So good. That just as that scene was happening, I was just like,
It was so good.
So that just leaves Quinn or whatever, and finally Mando finds him. He's actually about to like climb up the ladder, and he almost made it. Right. Mando finds him. He sort of appeals to Mando and begs for his life. He's like, "Hey, like you're a man of honor. Are you really gonna kill me? You should take me in as a prisoner. Like you." He's like, where are all the others? And Mando's like, they got what they deserve, blah blah blah. And he's like, you're a man of honor. You're not gonna kill me, blah blah blah. So I was actually not really too sure. Like, is he gonna kill him? Like, I kind of thought he was gonna just at that point pop
it definitely could have went both ways.
Definitely, but. We get back on. We get a little shot back on the ship before this all happens. We don't really know. They cut it there. We don't really know exactly what he's doing with Quinn, because we get back on the ship. Zero has found where Yiddle's hiding, and he's got his gun trained on Yiddle.
And we were teased.
We were teased because the second he draws the gun on Yiddle, what does he do? He closes his eyes, and he lifts his adorable little hand.
To just rip that son of a bitch apart.
And you can tell he was about to just instinctively begin to call upon the Force, the way we saw him do in Episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been hungry to see Yiddle call upon the Force again, right? So we have not seen it really again since then.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just been like, God, yes, rip this fucking droid apart. And then we hear, we kind of hear the blaster shot, but really we see sparks. And I kind of thought at that moment that was what was happening. But then his body falls out of the way, and it turns out Mando just shot him in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we were both like, "Aw."
I was a little disappointed, I won't lie.
But Yiddle, of course, safe and sound. The job is done. The Razor Crest heads back down to the platform, and it is revealed that, hey, he didn't kill him. He brought Quinn back as a prisoner.
Gets paid.
Didn't kill him. Fucking Bullock is like, where's everybody else? Mando's like, I thought your policy was no questions asked. And he's like, yeah, that's true. Fair enough, basically. Gives him his money. Mando leaves. Right. And then maybe like 30 seconds after Mando takes off in the Razor Crest and starts to fly away, fucking Bullock gets on the comms and he's like, all right, kill him.
Mm-hmm.
We see a sort of like gun, I don't know what you'd call it, some sort of like starfighter.
Yeah, some sort of gunship.
Some sort of gunship kind of come out of the platform, and Quinn's laughing. He's like, fuck yeah, we're going to kill this dude. But then Quinn realizes there's something beeping on his person. What is this? Pulls it out of his pocket. It's the distress beacon, bitch. The New Republic starts to come out. At that moment, we see 3 X-Wings.
I find one thing so funny. They're like, that bastard. I'm like, you guys are the bastards.
You guys are the bastards. That was such a clutch moment, though, dude.
That was so good.
We see the 3 X-Wings come out of hyperspace. Dave Filoni cameo, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I know that lisp anywhere. Just missing the cowboy hat. That's all we're missing. We love Dave Filoni. So we see them come out of hyperspace. They're like, hey, like the fucking they're launching a. You know what's funny? If they didn't launch that starfighter, that gunner ship,
they probably would have taken them out. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably would have just chalked it up to some sort of glitch or something like that and moved along. But because they had that out, now they're a threat. And you just see them just shooting the shit out of the entire platform. And, assumedly, they're just going to destroy the entire platform. It seems like it. They're just blowing the fuck out of it. And then, Mando and Yiddle fly off. But not before we get a cut back to the prison ship. And we see that, hey, turns out Mando didn't kill the others. He left them alive. He has them all locked in the same cell.
Mm-hmm.
But he did actually end up leaving them alive, which sort of is like, it's nice. It's nice to see a little bit of the Mandalorian's morality coming more and more into play as we get deeper and deeper into this.
I feel like Yiddle is making him.
I think so. I mean, yeah, definitely. I think you're definitely right about that. Yiddle is, you could argue, I guess, that Yiddle's making him soft maybe, but Yiddle is giving him a different perspective for sure, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. We're getting like the first 3 episodes basically set up the plot, set up Yiddle and everything. Then the next 3 episodes were kind of like filler, kind of like setting up characters that were sort of like seem like they're going to be major. Like we know that we're going to see Cara Dune again. We're assuming we're going to see that character Fennec again, or at least something involved with that character, because we talked about at the end of the last episode that there was definitely a tease there. We have the flashback that we have not seen anything of the flashbacks in several episodes now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot kind of left to happen in these last 2 episodes. We still haven't seen Giancarlo Esposito's character. We only have 2 more episodes. We have got to deal with whoever that was with Fennec, with Fennec's corpse.
Mm-hmm.
We know Cara Dune's coming back. What's going on with the Bounty Hunters Guild? Is there going to be, you know what I mean? Like Cara Weathers is still alive. They're not just going to let him go. There's kind of a lot in the main story that we haven't touched back on yet.
Yeah, there's a lot to still like be kind of like wrapped up. There's a lot of loose strings.
Yeah. Is there anything that I missed that you can think of? Anything you wanted to?
You
anything?
pretty much covered most of it. Like, I don't know if there's any. It's like you probably missed like a little thing, like
Maybe.
little I don't know, like little like interactions between the characters.
But
you
overall,
you hit the major beats.
yeah, I mean, overall, I think we're in agreement that this was a really good. Out of the filler episodes, this probably was my favorite.
It was killer filler.
It was some killer filler for sure. And again, I think I just sort of need to restructure the way I thought about this show, because I did kind of think that, okay, it's only 8 episodes. These are going to be 8 hard-hitting episodes. And I think you just have to curb your expectations a little bit for the show moving forward. I do think these last 2 episodes have a lot to deal with, though, and I am expecting these last 2 episodes to really sort of ratchet up the intensity.
I wouldn't even be surprised if they were a little longer.
I wouldn't either. Yeah, I wouldn't be one bit surprised. So we mentioned this, I think, on last week's episode of Shots, but it bears repeating that next week, if you're following along with us on this series, next week's episode is going to be airing on Wednesday. And the reason that they're doing that, I'm hearing mixed reports because, a lot of people are going to be watching Rise of Skywalker Thursday night. I've heard both that the episode 7 on Wednesday is going to involve something that's going to come up in Rise of Skywalker, and I've also heard that it's simply just going to include a sneak peek at Rise of Skywalker. So, like, attached to the episode, maybe after the credits or something, maybe it shows a scene from the movie or something like that. I don't know. I've heard both reports, so I don't know what's true and what's not. Either way, they have shifted the release schedule a little bit to account for that. So the next episode is going to be live on the 18th, and of course we will be there to cover that, as always. And then after that, the final episode will air on the 27th, the following Friday. So yeah, I think that's about it, though, Todd. I mean, Chapter 6, The Prisoner, killer filler.
Killer filler.
Killer filler.
Killer filler. Just keep going.
Anything else you want to add?
Killer
Or wrap it up? Yeah, killer filler.
That's about it, man.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next Wednesday for Chapter 7. Bye.
See ya.
Hey there, thanks for checking out another fantastic Nerd Bourbon video. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, be sure to go ahead and subscribe, leave us a like, drop us a nice comment, or I guess a mean one if that's your prerogative. But until next time, get dunked on.